guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my comparison between Disneyland versus Disney World. As you've now seen from all my vlogs, I went to Disney World and Disneyland at the start of this year in January, February. And it was my first time at Disneyland and my third time at Disney World, so I thought now I can finally compare it. You'll notice my sister, who is in all my vlogs, so I thought I'd bring her along in case there was something I forgot, because my memory is terrible. She can vouch for that. So I thought I would add her in this so she could help me out. And I've also given myself some notes so I don't forget anything. But for those of you who don't know, so Disneyland is in California, Anaheim. It's not that big, and so when they brought the land, people brought all the land around it, as in cheap hotels, cheap restaurants, like food places. It quite, I would almost gonna say dodgy places. Yeah, and just not the best, I guess, but a whole lot of other hotels and stuff open up all around it. So Disneyland is really quite small and compact. And it opened up in July of 1955 by Walt Disney himself. So that's the draw card to Disneyland, is he actually finished building that and opened that one. Okay, and then you have Disney World, which is over in Orlando, Florida, which is massive. The property that Disney owns over there is just ginormous, and before people who've never been or don't understand, no, the whole place is not a park. To get from, so in Disney World there's 4 parks, 2 water parks, and a whole downtown district, which Disneyland has as well. And then how many resorts would you say? 26 or something. Yeah, 26 resorts at Disney World. So pretty much to get to a park, it's probably like 10, 15 minute, 20 minute, probably Magic Kingdom bus ride. Sorry, you can get by boat as well. But so it's a lot bigger, and the draw card for that is there's no dodgy shops or hotels across the road from the park. You sort of feel like you're enclosed in this little bubble. Magic bubble. This little magic bubble. So I thought we would start off with the rides at Disneyland and at Disney World. So main thing with rides, you've got a lot of old classic rides at Disneyland and a lot of dark rides, which I really enjoyed and was something I was really excited for with Disneyland. So that would be, you've got Peter Pan, which we didn't go on.
No, because we thought it would be pretty similar.
We thought it would be pretty much, yeah, we ran out of time and we thought it would be the same as Disney World, so I can't compare that one. We went on Snow White, which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
Pinocchio, which I also really enjoyed. And I believe those two were there when the park opened in 1955, so they are original Disneyland rides.
We went on Alice.
And we went on Alice, which I guess is like a half. So all 3 of those rides, I believe, I don't know, people will correct me if I'm wrong anyway, I believe Snow White used to be at Disney World, but apparently got taken away. I don't know, but I sort of wish they had more of those dark rides at Disney World because I really enjoyed them and they're a lot of fun. So what other rides?
Oh, you're talking?
Yeah, and
it's
between
Storybook.
Yeah, so another ride that Disneyland has, Disney World doesn't, would be the Storybook boat ride. I don't know what if that's the real like title for it.
Storybook or something.
Storybook boats. I don't know, but that was a really cute ride. I really liked that ride as well. We didn't go on It's a Small World, mainly because we had family members that didn't want to go on at the time, and then the day we had free, we had so many other rides we wanted to do. We didn't get to go on it, and we thought it would be the same as Disney World, which I know there are differences, and I would have liked to go on it because that was one of Walt's favourite rides, but yeah,
ran out of time.
Ran out of time. We couldn't go on that one.
We mainly wanted to cover everything that is not at Disney World.
Yeah.
Even though there are some rides that are at both and they're different, our main thing was to cover the ones that we couldn't do in Orlando, so yeah.
Pretty much. We went on the spinning teacups in both parks, believe it or not, even though I can't handle spinning rides. I can't say there's a major difference. They both felt exactly the same. They spun, I sat in a teacup, it was small, and people were whirling past me. The difference is Disneyland's is outside, Disney World's is undercover.
Yeah.
Really only difference between those two. One ride which I was excited for was the Matterhorn. However, I rode it and was like, that was one of the worst rides I've ever ridden, mainly because I think it bruised my ass, I'm not gonna lie. I
got
bounced
bruised.
so much. I just got bruised and it was jerky, not comfy at all. I know it's a very old ride, but I really feel like they need to.
Yeah, it
fix
was
that.
fun to experience, but you could tell it was old.
Yeah.
Like
I don't know if they have to change it, or maybe that's how people like it. I don't know. And please, can I just say this now? Please don't take anything I say as like word. This is my opinion or Michaela's opinion. It doesn't mean it has to be your opinion. You could love the Matterhorn and that's good for you. I'll just probably never go on it again because my ass hurt. I can't lie. That happened, and I think in my vlogs I probably complained about it. Possibly.
probably, yeah.
Can't remember. We're filming this like only a couple of months after we got back, so it's sort of fresh in our memories, but this video is not going to go up till ages to now when you're seeing this. So another ride, which is at both parks, would be Big Thunder Railroad Mountain, I believe is the full title. Now I actually preferred Disneyland's. I think it
Same.
felt smoother and it was more interesting. Would that be the word? Like
I don't know.
interactive or?
My main thing was that it was definitely smoother, so I enjoyed it more for that reason. I think also more like when you went into the caves, they had like bats and like lights.
Yeah, a bit
and stuff.
scarier. I think it was
Yeah,
a bit scarier.
they kind of. I feel like the decor was a bit different, more themed. Yeah, it's a bit hard to explain.
So in that case, I do actually prefer Disneyland, and I've read in lots of places that apparently Disneyland is better kept, so as in the rides are more taken care of, and I do agree with that in that respect because Big Thunder Railroad Mountain was like beautiful, it was clean, whereas at Disney World it felt a bit dirty and there was just rubbish all over like the mountain and whatnot. So I actually prefer Disneyland's to Disney World's. Another ride we got to compare was the other mountain, which was Space Mountain. Unfortunately, Splash Mountain was closed, so we actually didn't get to
Close
ride
at Disneyland.
that one. Yeah, it was closed at Disneyland. We went on Disney World. So I think that one's the same. I don't know, but Space Mountain.
Actually, I do know that with Splash, I think the seating's different. Like it's only one person.
Oh, it's like a log flume, like a proper log flume.
Yeah, it's different for the seating, which is sort of like space different. seating,
Yeah,
but,
so we went on Space Mountain, which is just like she said, it's different from Disney World. So Disney World, you all line up like this, one behind the other, and then Disneyland, we get to sit together.
This, yeah.
I'm really biased. Disneyland changed it to make it Hyperspace Mountain and Star Wars themed, and I got Star Wars music playing in my ears, and it was Star Wars flying by, and that was it. I'm like, this is the greatest thing ever. So it actually felt smoother.
Yeah, I was just about to say that's the other thing. It was a lot smoother than
Disney World. I felt like I was gonna fall off the track and die. Like I felt like the cart was
even
just
though
gonna
I
come off.
love Disney World, like it's so much fun. Like, yeah, Disneyland was pretty good. So
Yeah, so that's another ride we got to compare. So now thinking, I think I've covered most of the Disneyland rides that we did.
Oh, like what about? Oh yeah, Disneyland. Sorry, I was thinking California Adventures, but yeah.
Disneyland, like I feel like there should have been way more we wanted to do. We didn't do Pirates.
Oh, we did do the Buzz, but we've never done that at Disney World.
Yeah, it was closed. Which was, I don't know about anyone else, but is Buzz Lightyear really hard at Disneyland? Because I watch people on YouTube and at Disney World they seem to be able to get 999,999, like really easy. Like people just get it.
Like,
I tried at Disneyland and I could barely get over 100,000.
Yeah.
It was the hardest thing. I had no idea what I was shooting. I don't know. Is it easier at Disney World or is it actually harder at Disneyland? If you could leave a comment below and let me know, so the next time I go to Disney World I actually will believe I might actually get that score, that would be really reassuring for me, because I just felt ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I think for Disneyland, we rode the carousel.
Yeah, we did.
I didn't ride that at Disney World because I get sick on spinning rides and I thought it would make me sick, and I went to scull a bottle of water while she went on.
Yeah.
But it was a carousel. I guess it felt cool because it was like Walt had ridden that carousel
and his wife had like a something
that's
dedicated.
But anyway, moving along. I don't want this video to go for like 40 minutes. So we're gonna head to the other park of Disneyland. So fun thing about Disneyland, which is a good draw card, I guess, is so you literally have, just hold that 1 second. You literally have Disneyland here. There's a road, Disney, downtown Disney's right at the back, and Disney's California Adventure is here. You could get from the back of Disneyland to the back of California Adventure in, I reckon, 15-20 minutes.
Yeah.
Easy done. You could easily do it. So that's a really good thing about California and original Disneyland. They are so close. Whereas Disney World, to get to another park, you're gonna have to wait in a bus.
Yeah.
It's probably a 15-20 minute wait. I mean, like, yeah, well, it could be 10, well, it depends how long the wait is.
It depends.
And then the ride, 10-15 minutes.
There's also monorails and boats, so it
depends which transportation method you take. So now going over to California Adventure, and yes, I'm doing everything from the point of view of Disneyland because I didn't get to ride all the rides there, so I'm trying to remember the ones I did ride. So my favourite ride at Walt Disney World is the Hollywood Tower Hotel, aka Tower of Terror. So when I saw that was at California Adventure, I was extremely thrilled and excited. However, you go into the California Hotel one, the one in California, whatever, and you go in, you sit down, and it's an elevator. It's an elevator straight away. So you go up, you watch this, I don't know, thing, and then it just starts doing the dropping and whatnot. Whereas at Disney World, you get a full ride, and then you click into the elevator, and then it does the whole thing. So I was extremely disappointed with Disneyland, and it completely let me down.
Yeah. I would say like Disney World feels more like you're actually like the elevators, something's actually happened to it. Because even because it's not just an elevator, you do move, and there's more of a storyline. Like you get to see those people in the movie who actually get stuck, and it has.
I think you see them at Disneyland, but it's when you go up and you get a quick.
E equals MC squared.
It didn't have E equals MC squared, which is the best part of a ride because it just makes no sense. Why is that so scary?
Disneyland just feels more like it's just a broken elevator that goes up and down.
Yeah.
Whereas,
and it was really fast, and I sort of. At first when we walked in, because we walked into the Disneyland one, you walk in and you walk into a hallway, like you look on either side of you and it's a hallway, and I was like, this is a bit weird, like why is it like this? And then the elevator doors walk up and you get in. And then when I got out the same place, and that's why I went, that's why it's a hallway, because it stops the people back in the queue from seeing that this is what it's like. You literally, the same person who dropped you off picks you up again pretty much, whereas at Disney World you get a different person, and they sort of make the ride. The person who closes you in will be like, oh my god, but wait, I'm going to tell you something. And then you're like, oh my god, I'm going to die. And then you get off and it's a different person who says, welcome back, you made it. I really like that. It was probably a size problem, I'm assuming. Like they didn't have enough land. That's why they couldn't build the back part, because that normal ride goes through the back part of the Hollywood Tower Hotel you can see at Disney World. That's what I'm going to assume anyway, but that's where Disney World wins, is in that one. Another ride I just thought of, Haunted Mansion in Disneyland. I felt they were pretty much similar, but I felt...
Oh, the insides were pretty much similar. It was
the ride was pretty much the same as well, I think, but Disney World, you get that staircase scene. You know, where you look around all the staircases and the footprints?
Yeah.
I don't think that was at Disneyland. The queue is obviously way better at Disney World, but once again, that's because Disney World has bigger land, so it can do a really cool interactive queue, and Disneyland can't do that because it doesn't have the size. The outside, I feel like...
It was cool that...
I feel like Disney World felt more like a haunted mansion. Disneyland just felt like I was going into somebody's mansion.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, yeah, because the graveyard, and once again, that's probably a sizing thing, but that's just how I felt.
And obviously, as you probably know, the whole elevator room stretching difference, whereas at Disney World it's just the wall.
The room stretches.
The room stretches, so
pretty
I mean
much.
the walls just move.
The roof lifts up.
Whereas at Disneyland you're actually in an elevator, so you kind of feel yourself going
And I
down.
think you actually then go below the ground to get on the ride, I believe. If I'm wrong, I'm sure people will correct me in the comments below anyway. But another thing, Disneyland was extremely dark. Like they needed to put more lights in. I almost felt like I couldn't see where I was going when I finally got in that elevator and out into the queue bit before you get on the ride. It was extremely dark.
And there was so many people too.
Too dark. You couldn't see.
Yeah.
So that's another ride we went on at Disneyland.
Oh, I also thought of another one, was that Roger Rabbit spinning one.
Oh yeah, cool. But I wasn't a fan.
But that's not at Disney World.
So another ride we went on at California Adventure would be the Little Mermaid ride. It's exactly the same at Disney World. However, the queue is better at Disney World because it's more interactive. You literally feel like you're walking through caves and whatnot, whereas Disneyland is a normal queue with rope or chains as they use. And then we get into the rides that are not at Disney World, but I wish were at Disney World, and they're only at California Adventure. And the first one would be Radiator Springs Races. I think that's the name.
Yeah.
That ride is awesome. I've heard they're doing a Cars Land at Hollywood Studios,
Which is going to be changing names.
So I don't know what the name will be. But the now Hollywood Studios, I think, is getting Cars Land. Not 100% sure, but that would be a ride they would put in because Fast Passes sell out fast on that ride. They go straight away. That is the ride everybody runs for. Another ride, we didn't go on Soarin'. Mainly Disney World was closed anyway. And then Disneyland, I get motion sickness from rides that are fake. That's a fake ride to me because you're just literally watching the screen. It's not like a roller coaster. I'm actually feeling the motion. So I didn't do it. My other family did and they really loved it. So that's good. I can't say I can only compare to the Disney World one, which I did back in 2012. Another ride I wish was at...
Swinging chairs.
Yeah, another ride I wish was at Disney World was the swinging chairs. I thought I'd get
It's called
sick.
Silly Symphonies because it plays orchestra.
The music, I loved the music that it played. It was awesome. So that was another really nice ride that I wish they had at Disney World, which they don't. Another ride I wish they had at Disney World, but they only have at Disneyland, will actually be Mickey's Wheel of Death. It's not called that, but that is what I called it. Even though I screamed and nearly cried the first time I went on it, I actually really enjoyed it. And I'm weird. I like rides where I feel like I'm gonna die, where I feel like there's that really, I get nervous, which is probably why I like the Tower Hotel so much, like Tower of Terror, sorry. Because you feel like, oh my god, if it just drops and what if it actually breaks? That, I like that feeling. So I would probably go on Mickey's Wheel of Death again and again if it was at Disney World.
California Screamin'?
California Screamin' didn't live up to any expectation for me.
I think I prefer Rock and Roller Coaster, which I don't know.
prefer Roller Coaster.
Is that I think it's at Disney.
No, it's not.
California, no, it's not.
No,
Oh,
Rock and Roller Coaster is only at Disneyland Paris.
Oh, okay. Well,
It's not there.
I like Rock and Roller Coaster in Disney World, and that's sort of the big roller coaster thing that I compared California Screaming to. Even though it wasn't the same, that's all I could really compare it to. And yeah, I definitely love Rock and Roller Coaster better just because of the theming and like it's glowing. You
like
go upside down. You don't know you're gonna go upside down, so that's really fun.
That's cool. And I like how fast it goes. I don't know, California Screamin', it just felt like a normal roller coaster that I could get at any park. It didn't feel like it was something that was only at Disney.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Other people may love it, and good on you if you do. It's just not,
it's still fun.
Not my cup of tea. I would rather go on Mickey's Wheel of Death again. Moving on, we also did Toy Story Mania, which is exactly the same. I don't think there was any difference between Disney World and Disneyland.
Even the
Once
queue
again,
is pretty similar.
no, not really, because you stood outside for a lot of Disneyland.
Oh, I know, but like once you got into the inside part of Disneyland, it was sort of...
The theming was better at Disney World, but once again, I think that's like a sizing thing. Anyway, moving along, I think that's all the rides we can cover, but now I'm going to say, it's pretty obvious, I'm going to give you my favourite rides from each park. So Disney World, mine is the Hollywood Tower Hotel. I love the Tower of Terror. That is the greatest ride on this earth. I think the one at Paris is apparently really good. I think it might be the same as Disney World, so that's the other one I'd want to go on. And your favourite Disney World ride?
Disney World is between Space Mountain and Seven Dwarfs. I just... so hard. Because Space Mountain used to be my favourite of all time, and we didn't get to go on Seven Dwarfs until this trip we just did. The time before it wasn't built yet. So when we came this time and we finally got to go, and I was like, oh my god, does this take over my favourite ride? Or I don't know, it's really tough. We did go on it about 7 times though, so yeah, I did really love Seven Dwarfs Mine Trains.
And then my favourite ride at Disneyland, oh my god, this is so tough.
Just Disneyland? Or
no, both of them. My favourite one, god, I don't want to say Radiator Springs Races or however you say it, but I did also really enjoy Snow White's The Dark Ride, the scary Snow White's Scary Adventures.
Yeah.
I actually really enjoyed that, and I think I liked it because it was so old and it just felt really Disney-ish to me.
I'm gonna go probably what everyone else says, and I'm gonna say Radiator Spring Races.
Yeah,
so I've been wanting to go.
Oh, sorry, Space Mountain, because it was Star Wars themed.
The theming on Radiator Springs was just so perfect.
So
like
good.
I've seen cut Ali's seen Cars, but probably not as many
I'm not a
times
big
as
fan,
me.
yeah.
I'm not a biggest fan, but you know, I watched it a couple of times, and the theming for me was spot on. Like even the way it's put in Cars, like where it's put in Cars Land, and just the whole scenery, the music, everything was like perfect, and it was really fun.
I like
we went on it daytime and nighttime, and it was cool to do both. So
I like that you actually race another car, because that's just a really fun element of that ride. So I talked about all the Disneyland rides I want to see in Disney World, but I haven't mentioned the Disney World rides that I wish Disneyland would have. One of them would be what is it? The Snow White roller coaster. Snow White's Wild Adventure? No, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train.
I was going to say, I didn't know what you were talking about then. I was like, what?
So one ride I wished was over in Disneyland that's not. It's only at Disney World, is Seven Dwarfs Mine Train. We rode that ride I think 7 or 8 times while we were there.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. Another ride I really missed over in good old Tomorrowland was the TTA.
Oh,
or
the
Tomorrowland
TTA.
Transit Authority, or the People Mover, depends however you say it. I loved that ride.
We went on it like 4
We went on it
times.
so many times. I think it was just a ride because we felt like sitting down and we knew the queue wouldn't be long, and we could just sit down and take in the park.
And we could also plan
love the
things
ride.
too. So
Yeah,
we'd go
we
on
would
it
sit there and
and
plan
we'd be like, okay, so what do we want to do next? Do we want to have food?
Yeah.
Do we want to go on another? Let's check the times for, you know, other rides and see how big the wait. And it was just a good thing to do instead of just standing in the park somewhere or trying to find a seat. We just went on that ride.
So true. So
Did that
true.
again.
Oh my god, a ride that I forgot we did. We did Indiana Jones at Disneyland.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I actually really, really like that ride. And I think
really
people
like that.
compare it to Dinosaur because
Dinosaur,
it uses the
yeah.
same car.
Car type. Yeah.
However, Indiana Jones kicked ass, and that is another
Yeah.
ride I would love to see over at Disney World.
Though, I can't really say. I didn't want to bring Universal into it, but there's a similar ride that's like mummy themed at Universal, and I liked that. Like it's the same type of ride, and I liked that. But definitely Indiana Jones was better than Dinosaur. Yeah.
Other rides at Disney World. So when we say Disney World, clarify, there's 4 parks. Where meaning they could be from Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, Animal Kingdom,
Epcot.
or Epcot. I forgot it for a second. So any other rides you would want over in Disneyland? I feel like Seven Dwarfs and the TTA are the top of my list. Rides.
I'm trying to think of some from the other parks. So
What I'm trying to think of, Animal Kingdom, is there any?
I think at Animal Kingdom, the Expedition Everest and the Matterhorn are supposed to be the competitive.
Yeah, the comparison. I got sick in Expedition Everest, so
Yeah.
it's not my favourite, so I wouldn't say I'd want it over at Disneyland necessarily.
Yeah. I guess
oh.
if you really loved, I can't remember what it's called. It's not Mission Space.
Oh, the one in the
Spaceship
space.
Earth,
The one
yeah.
the one in the ball. Actually, that would be a good ride.
That'd be, you know, that's something that's like, you know, iconic in Disney World, and
it sort of
they
just
don't have
takes you
that at
through
Disneyland
history.
at
It's
all.
not to do with any.
Yeah, it's just a
It's
a
a
cool
good
ride.
ride.
Yeah. So that would be cool to have.
That would be cool.
And then Hollywood, there's not many rides because they have Star
Hollywood
Tours
Hotel.
now. Yeah, it's just probably the only one they don't have is Rock and Roller Coaster. Which they could.
Yeah, Rock and Roller Coaster. If they could take that over to Disneyland,
Yeah,
that would be
that'd be
cool.
cool.
Obviously, they can't because Disneyland is so small. They'd have to buy out the places around them, which would be impossible.
we forgot another ride, the Rapids.
Yeah, but we didn't get to go on the other one.
But we have been on it, and I would say I prefer Disneyland actually.
Yeah, so we
From
went
memory.
on the Bear Mountain. Oh, I don't know. There was like a bloody wolf. It was wolf. Something to do with the wolf. The River Rapids at California Adventure. I don't know the name. We went on those rapids and we actually liked them better than Kilimanjaro. No, not Kilimanjaro. Sorry. Than the rapids, Kali River Rapids, which we didn't get to go on this year because it was closed. But we've been on it. But comparing, we actually prefer Disneyland. Any other rides I want to see over at Disney World? I mean, from Disney World to Disneyland, not that I can think of.
No, not really.
I feel like Disneyland has all the has the pretty good rides, but some of them, like the Tower Hotel, they just screwed up. That was a screw up. Restart that, do it again. They have all the mountains, typical. Pirates, we didn't go on. They have Pirates, so they have all the classics. They have the Tiki Room. But yeah, I don't think there's anything else I want to say there.